Hey everybody, it's Miss Enki with Boys and Girls Club. So I have a question for y'all. How many of us like to eat eggs? Do you like to eat lots of eggs? Does your family use a lot of eggs? I know I like to eat them sometimes, but I definitely like to use them for baking as well, which means it's super important that they're fresh when I use them. And there's often a little set of numbers and letters on the side of the box that they come in. It's called an expiration date. Basically lets us know when they're good to use by. But did you know that you can actually scientifically test this as well? Well, that's what I'm going to show you how to do today, and these are the things you're going to need. So what you're going to need is some eggs, of course. You're also going to need a bowl that can fit the eggs that you're going to test. You're going to need some water, and I suggest if you're doing this activity inside like I am today, that you have a towel beneath your bowl just to make sure things don't get super soaked. So what we're going to do with this today is we're going to test out our egg freshness by putting these eggs in the bowl of water. But for example, let me show you how these things are going to react, because they're going to take one of 3 different reactions. And if this, for example, the towel here is like our bowl full of water, here's what they're going to do. They're either going to sink to the very bottom and lay on their side. They're going to sink to the bottom and stand up in one means or another. On the bottom, there we are. Or they're going to float towards the top. And each of these reactions is for a different scientific reason. So let's think about what's inside each of our eggs. They have a yellow yolk, a white egg white, and natural gases that are produced by any fresh food. That happens naturally. And so what all those things do is when they're combined and they're inside the egg, it makes the egg very heavy, which is what causes it to sink to the bottom when they're at their freshest state. Then what we also have to think about is the eggshell itself. So think about if you've ever used eggs for coloring purposes. If you've ever colored them, if you've ever drawn with them on markers, they tend to take on the ink that's surrounding them, correct? Right, because they're porous. It means they can absorb. And they also absorb air and natural gases as well as they age, causing them to break down little by little on the inside. Their contents start to lose their freshness and go through their decomposition system, meaning they're slowly starting to rot as they get older. So the more air that comes in here, the more it's going to start to try and push on the egg to go upward, which is why it might be standing, but still good to mainly use when it's in the bowl and it's in this position. However, the most air that it starts to take on and the more that it gets, it's going to cause it to rise to the top of the bowl, meaning, hey, I'm really not that fresh anymore and I probably shouldn't be used for any kind of consumption, so I'm probably starting to rot. So what I'm going to do is test out each of these eggs to give you an idea of what you would do. You would take your egg, gently place it inside the bowl, and as you can see, mine sank all the way to the bottom. A little hard to see in this bowl, in that area, and it's laying down flat. So that's telling me that this egg is nice and fresh to use. So that's always a good thing to know. That one can sit out here. We're gonna try egg number 2. Same process, just let it go. And it does the same thing. Sits down on its side, lays down on its side at the very bottom, sinking, meaning it's nice and fresh. And now we're gonna do the same thing with this one. Now I don't know if it's a rotten egg or not, but I'm really hoping it isn't, so that way I have more eggs to use. And thankfully it's not. It also sinks to the very bottom and lays down on its side, meaning that all of these eggs are nice and safe to consume, good to eat, and perfectly fine to use. So hopefully this has taught you something different about the eggs that you may see in your house all the time. It may give you a different way to try and interact with them. And now that you have all this information, maybe test it out on your family. See if they knew any of these facts. And every time you start to use eggs from now on, maybe give it a shot testing it out with this excellent activity. Have a good one, y'all.